What's going on, everyone? Your mom's favorite YouTuber KKS here, and welcome back to a new video. Different kind of video today. Today, I'm just gonna be giving my thoughts on the whole too hype. What would you call it? Drama? Is it drama? I mean, it is drama. I'm just gonna call it the whole too hype drama. Um, so for those of you who don't know, Too Hype is a YouTube group. Um, a few people, the people are Jesser, people from Too Hype, are Jesser, Cash Nasty, Kristopher London, um, Zach TDG, Mopi, TD, and other people. Or that's who they used. That's the people who used to be in Too Hype, I should say. Um, since then, Mopi, TD, a couple other people have left. And so recently, Mopi made a new video explaining why he left Too Hype. Kristopher London has made a video before. TD also has, and everyone has just been giving out their side of the story. But the biggest one, it would definitely be Mopi's because of the extent of the details he decided to share with the audience. So for those of you who don't know, there are two sides of this. One side is Jesser, Chris London, uh, Zach, and Jidel. And the other side is Mopi, TD, and the other guys. So basically, what went on was that those Zach, Jidel, that Chris London, and Jesser, they're part of Too Hype, and they're trying to. Um, they just got bought out by 100 Thieves. I don't know if it's bought out, but they joined 100 Thieves, and they were obviously making some changes within their group. Um, I don't know. Some people think it's positive, some people think it's negative. TD gave his thoughts saying that Too Hype, the core members of Too Hype, were trying to get rid of a few other guys, including himself. Um, Mopi said that he himself, or nobody really got kicked out. Um, Everybody left under their own power. However, there were conversations before they left of kicking those people out of the group. The reason they wanted to kick people out is because they would think that those people weren't really essential to their group and that they could do without them. And also, the less people there are within a group, the more the money will be the more money each individual will be making. Um, so yeah, they thought they could get rid of dead weight. And so Mopi and TD, when they released their sides of the story, the other guys were not very happy, and they tried to paint them out as bad guys. Take it how you guys will, but I think Mopi and TD are the good guys. Based on all of the information that I have seen, um, they were kind of the victims of. I don't. I don't. I don't want to use the wrong term here. I guess you could say abuse. They honestly were the victims of abuse from Jesser, from Zach, Jidel, and the other guy's name, Chris London. Um, so I'm mainly going to talk about what Mopi said. Basically, Mopi in his video, I'll link it down below in the description for you guys to watch it. But he basically gave his side of the story when it came down to like each individual person, his relationship with each individual person. He started off with Jesser. For those of you who don't know, Jesser has always been Mopi's friend since they were little kids. Um, and he said a few things that really like resonated with the viewers. He said there was one point where he said, "There's no Jesse anymore. It's just Jesser," meaning the old friend that he knew is gone, and it's just this new shell of his former self now exists. Um, and he also said they don't really care about Tyler; they only care about Mopi, which basically means they don't care about Mopi as a person. They only care about Mopi as like a business strategy and what he can bring to their group. Um, so basically, what he said about Jesser was that Jesser was trying to paint out Mopi as some mentally unstable guy who was just coming out of rehab, which I think is really messed up. Mopi decided to be open and honest about his rehab, and Jesser went and tried to use at least his Mopi's brother and Mopi's mom, um, in a way to kind of paint him out as a bad guy. Didn't really work, but the fact that he tried just shows the kind of person that Jesser really is. Um, I didn't really like Jesser before, but if I'm being honest, I didn't know about like I haven't been watching Too Hype since they started. Um, I just know Jesser for the way he is the last year or so. And to be honest, whenever I saw him, I just thought he was some like I never thought of him as a genuine guy. I thought he was a fake guy. Like he puts a show on for the camera, but deep down, I didn't really think of him as a good guy. And Mopi kind of brought that to light. He kind of explained that Jesser, like, he's not a good person. When they encountered fans, Jesser would be like, before they even said anything to their group, Jesser would be like, "Please don't come here. Please don't come here," even though the kid was just looking. Um, yeah, that was just a story Mopi talked about in his video. Go check it out if it didn't really make sense to you. But basically, he was saying his old friend isn't there anymore, and that now it's just this new guy that Chris and Zach and Jidel have formed. Kind of hits, you know? Like you always grow up with your friends, you always think they're always gonna be for you, they be there for you, but then fame and money changes a person, you know? Um, yeah, I don't know, that hits deep. But anyways, moving on from Jesser, then Mopi goes on to talk about, I think it was Jidel next. He talks about Jidel. Um, this one was kind of one of the more like one of the more obvious ones that like Jidel's not a good guy. Mopi goes on to say that Jidel always like abused him um, emotionally. He never really like paid much attention or much care in Mopi's videos. Then he goes on to give like a compilation of examples of times where Jidel was in one of Mopi's videos and Jidel's just sitting there, arms crossed, not smiling or anything. And then he shows a compilation of videos with Jidel starting his own videos and how he's smiling and in this happy kind of way. So it's not like Jidel could defend himself and say he's just not a very like kind of guy who displays his emotion on the outside, because it's seen that he does that with his own videos. But when it came to Mopi's videos, someone who's supposed to be his friend and supporter, he doesn't really care. Um, so I think it just shows that Jidel's not a good person either. Um, and Mopi goes into more detail again, but basically, I can't say Mopi's lying about any of this. It's it would be very difficult to keep this charade up if it weren't true. Um, but yeah, it just goes to show that again, fame and money really like shows the true roots of a person and how it really shows if they're really like just there for the fame and the money or if they're just there if they're actually there caring about their friends, you know. And I don't think Jidel is one of those guys who actually cares. He's just the guy there for the money and the clout. Um, But anyways, moving on from Jidel, he then talks about Chris. I don't really know too much about Chris, but Mopi goes on to talk about how Chris is kind of like basically he claimed that Chris was a liar. When it came to his relationship with his ex girlfriend, he came out and basically lied to everybody, saying that she was the one at fault for everything and she did everything wrong. And Mopi even said himself that he even believed that. And if he could believe that, then the random average viewer who listened to Chris's story would also believe it. And so Moby realized eventually that Zach was the bad guy, and that innocent girl is now going to have to live with a negative image the rest of her life, um, which is kind of messed up, you know? I mean, she tried suing for defamation, he said, but Twitch really protects their streamers. It's kind of impossible to sue for defamation um, through Twitch. Basically, yeah. He didn't really go into too much detail about Zach either. He just basically said the same thing he said about everyone, that he's getting emotionally abused by Zach. Zach doesn't really care about Mopi. Um, but something I saw, not in Mopi's video, but I think it was 3 years ago. Zach once said that he thinks Mopi is gonna go to rehab and leave Too Hype, which is exactly what happened. So I don't really know what's up with that. It's almost as if Zach like saw this coming. He saw what they were doing to Mopi and he commented on it, but he didn't do anything about it to try and care, you know? And so I don't know, that kind of shows the kind of person Zach is through Mopi's story and also previous clips of him. And the last person Mopi talks about was Chris London. If I'm being honest, I've never liked Chris London. He always seemed like the kind of guy who was selfish, you know? Like, he always seems like a self centered kind of a guy. I don't know. But yeah, Mopi goes on to say how Chris London's video was all lies. When I watched that video, I think it was pretty clear he was lying too. Um, he didn't really have much evidence of anything. He kind of lied about everything while sugarcoating it. He came out with a tweet saying that he's sorry for sugarcoating, but then Mopi commented on how that itself was also sugarcoating because he was lying most of his video. And I think it's kind of sick the things he did. Like, for example, he posted out like mental health things just because Mopi went to rehab and they were trying to paint him out again as somebody who's mentally unstable. Um, and I really think Chris is kind of the driving force of what made Jesser, or what made Jesse into Jesser, you know? But yeah, that's the story about those four guys. Those are my thoughts. I really don't think they're good people, especially Chris, especially Zach. I think if any of them had a chance of changing, it would be Jesser, just because he apparently wasn't always this kind of a guy. I think if anybody feels bad about Mopi and what he's gone through after all of this, it's Jesser. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, those are my thoughts. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe for more content. I might give more updates later. Um, yeah, that's it. Hopefully, Mopi's all right. Let's see what happens to Two Hype. And yeah, thank you all for watching.